Chapter 1. The Lonely Donkey. Once upon a time, in a bright and beautiful valley surrounded by soft green hills, there lived a donkey named Dobby. He was a kind-hearted animal, always helpful and hard-working. He carried heavy loads for the villagers, fetched water from the stream, and never complained. Yet no one ever said thank you. Why? Because Dobby was a donkey, and everyone believed donkeys were just silly, stubborn, and not very special. Every morning, Dobby watched the other animals. The proud horses trotted by with shining saddles and sleek manes. The cows grazed lazily while being petted. Even the chickens were admired for their eggs. But Dobby, no one admired him, not for his strong back nor his gentle nature. "Why does no one see me for who I really am?" he sighed one day, his ears drooping sadly. Chapter 2. The Hidden Path. One misty morning, while Dobby was grazing near the edge of the forest, he noticed something odd. A glowing rabbit hopped across his path, its fur shimmering like stars. Curious, Dobby followed it. The rabbit darted through bushes and vines until they reached a hidden path behind a curtain of ivy. "What is this place?" whispered Dobby, stepping cautiously. The path led him to a clearing he had never seen before. In the center stood a small wooden cottage with a crooked roof, covered in moss and flowers. A sign hung on the door: Madam Nisha, mirror maker and dream weaver. Before Dobby could knock, the door creaked open. "Come in, little traveler," said a voice, soft and mysterious. Inside, the room sparkled with thousands of mirrors, round, square, tall, tiny, all hanging from walls and ceiling like stars in a night sky. But there was one mirror that stood alone, draped in the silver velvet. Madam Nisha, a wise old owl with crescent spectacles, hovered near it. "You're not here for an ordinary reflection, are you?" she asked. Dobby shook his head slowly. I want to see what others don't see in me." Madam Nisha blinked her golden eyes. "Then behold the mirror of true sight." Chapter 3. The Mirror's Gift. Madam Nisha pulled the silver velvet away, revealing the most unusual mirror Dobby had ever seen. Its frame was carved from moonlight and stars, and its glass shimmered like water under moonbeams. "Look deeply," the owl whispered. Dobby stepped forward, heart pounding. At first, he saw his regular self: long ears, gray coat, clumsy hooves. But slowly the mirror began to shimmer. His reflection changed. He saw a glowing creature with eyes full of kindness, a crown of stars around his head, and golden light shining from within. He looked brave, noble, and wise. "Is that me?" Dobby asked in awe. "That," said Madam Nisha, "is who you truly are. Your heart is full of love, your spirit stronger than any mountain. But others can't see it until you do." "But I'm still just a donkey." "And yet," Madam Nisha smiled, "you are the only creature who dared to find this mirror." Chapter 4. Confidence from Within. Dobby left the cottage with a strange new feeling. Confidence. Not the loud kind, but a quiet certainty. He walked taller, spoke kindly, and didn't shrink when others mocked. When the village children laughed at his big ears, he said, "Yes, they're big, but they help me hear a friend's cry from far away." When the cows teased him for his rough coat, he replied, "It may be rough, but it keeps me warm in the cold winds." Slowly, people began to notice something different about Dobby. Not his ears or his hooves, but his courage, his honesty, his gentle strength. Chapter 5. Trouble in the Valley. One afternoon, a great panic swept the valley. The bridge that connected the village to the outer fields had collapsed in a storm. Trapped on the far side were children, farmers, and animals. The river had swelled into a raging flood. "No one can cross it," the villagers cried. "It's too dangerous." The horses refused. The oxen turned back. Even the birds flew overhead helplessly. Then came a quiet voice. "I will go." It was Dobby. "Don't be foolish," snapped a merchant. "You'll drown." But Dobby stood firm. He remembered the mirror's reflection. He knew who he was now. Tying ropes around his sturdy frame and loading food on his back, Dobby stepped into the roaring river. One step at a time, he crossed, steady, calm, brave. On the other side, he loaded the children onto a raft tied to him and pulled them back, one trip at a time. Hours passed. He was soaked, tired, and sore. But he didn't stop. When the last child was safe, the villagers burst into cheers. "Dobby! Dobby! The bravest in the valley!" For the first time in his life, they saw him. Chapter 6. A celebration like no other. That evening, the village threw a celebration. Flowers were woven into Dobby's mane. Musicians played songs in his honor. Even the mayor made a speech. "We have always judged by what we saw, but Dobby has taught us that greatness lies within."